We've been talking a lot about nature and natural law and the laws of nature, and we haven't yet addressed a really fundamental question. That is, what is natural? What does it mean to say that something's a part of nature? And I'd ask you to consider that question as it relates to something like beaver dams. Do you consider beaver dams to be a part of nature? Are they natural? Most people respond to that question by saying, yes, I consider beaver dams to be a part of nature because beavers are part of nature and beaver dams are things that beavers build. But even more than that, folks would say, it's not just that beavers build dams, it's that beavers almost can't not build dams. Building dams seems to be a part of a beaver's nature. It doesn't have to choose to build a beaver dam. It just kind of does it because it's a beaver. You may have seen the video that's been circulating around the interwebs recently. It's super cute. So if you haven't seen it, you got to pause the video and go search for it before you go any further. This family found an abandoned baby beaver. And they took it into its home and nursed it to health and raised it in its home. But its home is like this suburban tract home. So this beaver has grown up not having contact with other beavers, not having any opportunity to swim in rivers and so forth. And yet it knows how to build dams. And the video is the beaver building a dam in the doorway of the house using the children's stuffed animals. It's so cool. So you gotta go search for that video before going any further here. But you can see that that's an example that people would point to and say, the reason that beaver dams are natural is because beavers are natural, and as a part of their beaver nature, they build dams. They don't have to be taught how to do it. They don't have to choose to do it. It's just what they do. And if they don't do it, there's some part of their nature that's not able to express itself. And you can see that with the domesticated beaver. All right, fair enough. So now think about that, or think about this in relation. Are the dams that human beings build natural? Now we pause more, right? Now we're like, well, wait a minute here. These dams that we build, we don't have to build them. The beaver kind of is compelled to build the dam. We don't have to build dams on our rivers. We don't have as a part of our human nature some impulse to dam up rivers like the beaver does. So the dams that human beings build are not natural, are not part of nature. Now, we might question this a little bit though, because isn't it the case that human beings have as a part of their nature an impulse to build things? In particular, an impulse to build things that allow us to control and manipulate our physical environment in order to facilitate our well-being as human beings, right? And it does seem like, well, that is a part of our nature. We're tool-making creatures. We do things that have an impact on the world. And the impacts that we have on the world, they may not be impacts that we should be creating. And we have this capacity for reason that the beaver doesn't have to be able to figure out where to draw those lines and how big to build the dams and where not to build the dams and so forth. But maybe there's a way of thinking of dam building as a part of nature because humans are a part of nature, and it's a part of humans' nature to manipulate and control our environments for our well-being. All right, fair enough. Well, what about this? We get sick. And us getting sick is a natural phenomenon. We get a virus or we get a bacteria that invades our bodies, and our immune system immediately kicks in and starts to defend us from that invading virus or bacteria. We don't have to ask our immune systems to do this for us any more than the beaver has to be asked to build the dam. The immune system just kicks in as a part of our human nature. Okay, so illness and fighting off illness definitely seems to be natural, but we don't settle for just our immune systems anymore. We have medicines so that we can decrease the amount of time that we're sick or decrease the amount of damage that a virus or a bacteria does. We even have these really powerful medicines like chemotherapy that fundamentally alter our bodies in profound ways. Are medicines natural? Think about this. Braces. We put this metal gear on our teeth because we don't think that our teeth are forming in a way that's ideal. So we crank them around in our mouths to move our teeth around to present the kind of mouth that we want. Is that natural? What about glasses? Glasses help us see the world in a way that we wouldn't otherwise be able to see it. Are they natural? What about things like cochlear ear implants? Okay, are these things natural? They're fundamentally altering our human bodies and how they function. Now, a natural law theorist is going to come at questions like these, and they're going to say, okay, so when you're thinking about where to draw these lines on our behavior, and you're trying to draw these lines to determine what's actually natural, what you have to ask yourself is not how is the thing currently, but what is the thing's nature? Right? So that when we think of a person, what are the things that they typically have as their features? Well, they have 2 arms. They have 2 legs. They have 10 fingers. Does everybody have 2 arms and 2 legs? Is everybody born with 2 arms and 2 legs? And we say, well, no, not everybody is. But typically, they are. And so the natural law theorist is going to look at these tools and technologies like medicines and glasses and braces, and they're going to say, you want to consider what the thing is a nature of when you're determining what kinds of alterations you can make to the thing. So you look at this dog with the 4 prosthetic limbs. Are those natural? Well, the natural law theorist is going to say, well, sort of, because human beings are using their ability to make sophisticated tools and technologies in order to restore the dog to its true nature. Okay, in order to restore it to function more like the thing that it naturally is. And a natural law theorist may even make this same argument about gene therapy, something we may talk about in a few weeks here. That when we go in and we manipulate genetic structures, we may be doing that in a way to restore the thing to the state of nature that we believe is typical for that thing. But when we use our tools and technologies to distort and pervert the nature of the thing, then maybe we're crossing that line. So in the 1950s, a question came up for natural law theorists. Particularly, it was directed at the Catholic Church because Catholics tend to embrace natural law theory. And this new sophisticated technology of plastic surgery had been developed. And this plastic surgery, as you know, has the ability to fundamentally alter our bodies and our appearance. And so the question went to the Pope, is plastic surgery morally acceptable? And so the Pope ruminates on this, and he actually issues a statement. And he says, if plastic surgery is done in order to restore God's creation to its typical form, then yes. So if a child is born with a cleft palate, plastic surgery is perfectly morally appropriate to restore that child's mouth to the way that's typical for a child's mouth to be. But cosmetic plastic surgery, like nose jobs or ridiculous lip jobs like this is not natural, and this is not morally permissible, because now you're actually distorting the nature of the thing that it is.